Welcome back to the King Films Euro 2020 predictions, and I am here today with our knockout predictions. Let's get right into it. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Betting Locks will return on the 27th of June, and we will be back with some Copa America knockout predictions as well. So, starting with the round of 16, we've got a banger matchup between Belgium and Portugal. Belgium has played great throughout this group stage, notching 3 wins to their belt. Denmark did play them great in one of their games, but this team's just far too strong. I think Portugal has had a good time. They drew France, an unfortunate result against Hungary, so they're the third place team in that group. And I think that Portugal's luck has run out. They got so lucky in that 2016 tournament. I'm going to give this one to Belgium. In the second match, we've got Italy and Austria, and wow, Italy has not failed to wow everybody through their performance in this tournament. 3 victories, all decisive. The opponents did not really have the ball even much. There was not a time when people would even question the result of the game. Italy was just dominating the games. The one concern I usually have is their goal scoring ability, but they've hushed some of those questions for now, at least against inferior opposition, of which Austria is very much a part. Austria had a decent run, but I think that Italy is just too strong a team, and they will take this one to book a date with Belgium in the second round. Moving on to France against Switzerland, I think that this one will be an easy one for France. Switzerland managed to beat Turkey in their group. That was the game that all 3 other teams won, including Wales, and then they drew Wales, so they are far inferior to a France team that won the group of death. France did draw Hungary, but Hungary's a very good team. They drew Germany and were very close with Portugal for the vast majority of that match, so I've got France moving on here. Now in this Croatia-Spain matchup, both of these teams have not necessarily showed me what I'd like to see out of them. Spain came in to this Group E, and you'd think that facing Sweden, Slovakia, and Poland, that they'd be able to pull out and win this group. But instead, they drew Sweden, drew Poland, and then they really did beat up on Slovakia in this last match day, but I did not like those first 2 results, seeing as Poland only got 1 point, and that was their point. They are starting to heat up, but I'm going to have Croatia win this matchup, just because Croatia also had a decisive result against Scotland 3-1. This is a Scotland team that drew England, and they only lost England 1-0. They had every chance to win that game. I was a little disappointed with their draw to Czechia, but I think that Croatia is going to move on. If I can remind you from our Euro 2020 futures video, we do have Croatia getting to the quarterfinals, so this bracket would fulfill that. Let's move on to the bottom half, where we've got Sweden against Ukraine, and I'm going to have Sweden winning this one. They actually managed to win Group E, earning themselves this easy matchup against a Ukraine team that only won to North Macedonia, finished with a -1 goal differential. Not a great Ukraine team here, and I think that Sweden will mop the floor with them. Quite frankly, they got a result against Poland and Slovakia, which I was very impressed with both of those, and then especially impressive was their draw against Spain. So I think that Sweden can continue their run and move on to the quarterfinal. Now, kind of the greatest matchup in the first round on this bottom half of the bracket is this England-Germany game, and I'm going to give it to Germany. Both of these teams have been very upsetting through their first 3 matches at this tournament, but I think England's been a little more disappointing. Germany's had to face the gauntlet already. England hasn't really faced that top-tier competition, and they haven't really shown much to me. 2 1-0 results against Czechia and Croatia, and then that draw against Scotland, that was horrible. This England team is going to have to learn how to score, and I'm not sure that they can do it against Neuer and a great German defense. Germany has their own problems, as we saw in that last game to Hungary, which finished in a draw. Germany was very lucky for that, as the Hungary keeper practically ceded their first goal to them. But they did get a promising result against Portugal after a poor showing against France that went 1-0. But that Portugal game where they won 4-2 is the Germany I think we're going to get in this first round. They're going to score more goals than England can, and obviously win the game through that. Netherlands, Czech Republic, I think this one's going to be another cruise for the Netherlands. They have not really faced any top-tier competition, and that trend will continue here. Czech Republic did not get many results except for their win over Scotland on the first match day. They then drew Croatia, which, again, was disappointing for Croatia, but I still think that this team is far inferior to the Netherlands, who just cleaned up their group against Austria, Ukraine, and North Macedonia in decisive fashion, 3-3, and they will move on here, and they will play Denmark. Yes, I have Denmark beating Wales here. Denmark did not have the greatest first two games, but you've got to think that that Finland game can be excused just because of all the drama with Eriksson. Yes, they missed a penalty. Yes, it was a horrible penalty, in fact. But I can't really count that Finland game away from them anymore after what they did to that Russian side in that third match. Wow. And they played Belgium close too. Wales, they got the draw against Switzerland in Group A, which was, a good result for them. And, they're lucky to be here in this knockout stage. They got the win over Turkey. They did what they needed to do, but I'm afraid we'll say bye to them, and Denmark will advance to the next round. Now, Belgium, Italy, we've got a great match in the quarterfinal on this top bracket. I'm going to have Belgium winning. I just don't think that Italy can outlast them, but I could honestly see this one going either way. Belgium has a very difficult path here, assuming that all of this comes true. I mean, Portugal in the first match, Italy in the second match. That is a difficult two matches. The announcers will always say, oh man, maybe they're tired. They put so much effort into that first round game, which, it will be a dogfight against Portugal in the first round, but I don't believe that Belgium will be exhausted from that. I think that they'll be able to recover just fine and play an Italy side that hasn't really seen that top tier competition yet. This will be their first glance at it, and I think Belgium will show that maybe it was just a mirage for Italy. They got to the quarterfinals, cruised in 3 group stage matches, but I don't think it will be enough, and I've got Belgium winning. As for France, you could say a similar thing to Belgium. They had to win Group F, the group of death, and then, they get an easier draw, but, will the emotional toll catch up with them? I don't think so. I'm going to have them beating a Croatia side that, quite frankly, might not even beat Spain, but I think France is just the better team here, and they are one of the best in this competition, so I am going to set up a great Belgium-France matchup in the semifinals there. Moving on to the bottom, I'm going to have Sweden pulling off the shocker against Germany. This would be a great result for Sweden, and the reason I'm doing this pretty much is I don't know if Germany is actually going to beat England, so I think that Sweden actually has a better chance of getting to the semifinal than either England or Germany. And that being said, Sweden 1-1 result through extra time, PKs. I know England is dreadful at them, but Germany could just as well lose as well. I just think that Sweden will be this year's magical team in these Euros and get to the semifinal. In Netherlands, Denmark, I'm going to have Netherlands ending the run of Denmark. It's a gradual build-up for the Netherlands here, Czech Republic, a little bit better competition than they've seen, having played Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. So the steady build-up, and I have them beating Denmark, which is a bit better than Czech Republic, but still think that this Netherlands side is very good. They haven't shown me anything otherwise, and they've, quite frankly, got a very easy draw here. Just to get to the semifinal, where they will then play Sweden. And let's just start with this semifinal, Netherlands-Sweden. I'm going to have Netherlands winning this. They got just such an easy draw. I mean, these baby steps up in competition. You couldn't ask for anything else. Netherlands to the final. There's just not a lot of quality competition in this bottom half of the bracket. This is a very doable path for the Netherlands here. Sweden, I'm afraid they've had their luck come to an end, beating either England or Germany in the last round. So I see Netherlands getting to the final. They've been solid. The goal scoring's been there. The defense has been iffy but there, and I think that they can beat these inferior opponents and get to the final. In the top half of the bracket, wow, Belgium and France, a great matchup. Rematch of the World Cup final, and I have Belgium taking advantage here, taking their revenge and getting to the final. France has gone through everything at this point, but I just think that Belgium's the better team. Honestly, I could see either team winning, but I'm going to stick with Belgium. And then just a reminder, we've got Belgium and the Netherlands in the final. Just to remind you of the Euro Futures video, we did have the Netherlands in the semifinal, so that would be fulfilled. And we have Belgium as champions, or France. I'd see that the winner of that matchup would beat the Netherlands. You know, they just haven't been battle tested enough by that bottom half of the bracket. They could always get lucky, but I see the winner of Belgium-France being the winner of this tournament. So for this bracket, we are going with Belgium as the winners, and you know, they're just a great team. They've got all sorts of power. They've got good defense, and I think they'll prove too much for Netherlands at Wembley, and they will take the Euro 2020 knockout stage and tournament. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment any of your predictions down below.